If you think the rich got rich just by saving money and drinking fewer Starbucks lattes, you're so adorable. Because while the rest of us are out here clipping coupons and praying our paycheck lasts the week, the top 1% are collecting assets most people don't even know exist. And no, I'm not talking about your cousin's Dogecoin stash. By the end of this video, we're revealing 10 wealth-building assets only the top 1% actually use, and how you can start getting in the game. Oh, and these aren't your typical save and invest in an index fund strategies. These are the under-the-radar cash printing machines the ultra-wealthy quietly load up on, while looking boring on purpose. Asset number 10, private equity investments. Okay, I want to start with the secret club, private equity. Most people invest in companies after they go public, but the 1%, they invest before the party even starts. Private equity means owning chunks of private businesses that aren't traded on stock exchanges. Think early investments in Uber, Airbnb, or Stripe. Before they were household names, these investments often have insane upside because you're getting in early and the company isn't bound by public market volatility. It's like owning a golden goose before anyone else even knows it lays eggs. And here's the kicker. The 1% don't just bet blindly. They get access to vetted deals through elite networks, family offices, or private equity funds that analyze every number with surgical precision. They're not gambling. They're strategically acquiring equity in companies with explosive potential. And unlike public markets, they're not exposed to emotional day trading or Reddit-fueled volatility. It's a quieter game, but when it pays loud. But if private equity sounds too Wall Street, don't worry. The next asset is so passive, you could own it in your pajamas while eating cereal. Asset number 9, real estate syndications. This one's a sleeper, literally, but it's one we need to really discuss seriously, so pay attention. Instead of buying rental property and dealing with leaky toilets, the wealthy pool money into real estate syndications. A team of professionals does all the work, and the investors sit back and collect mailbox money. Apartments, office buildings, self-storage facilities. This is how the 1% earns real passive income without sweating for it. You become an owner, but you never swing a hammer. Here's how it works. A lead investor, called the sponsor, finds and manages the deal. The rest, limited partners, just fund the deal and get paid quarterly returns. It's a true money works for you model. And the perks don't stop at passive income. Syndications come with major tax advantages, write-offs, 1031 exchanges, and even cost segregation strategies that can wipe out 6 figures in taxable income. It's like getting paid to be hands-off, and the 1% are very hands-off by design. And speaking of ownership without effort, wait till you hear how the rich make millions off stuff you probably scrolled past this morning. Asset number 8, digital intellectual property. Ever heard of someone making 6 figures from a PDF they created once? Welcome to the world of digital IP. I'm talking ebooks, online courses, licensing deals, and media rights. These are assets created once that generate revenue over and over again. The top 1% aren't just consumers of content. They're owners of the content you consume. They own the blog that sold 100,000 ad impressions, the course that 10,000 people bought, or the music licensing rights on TikTok hits. Think of it like planting a money tree. You water it once, maybe for a few weeks while building that course, writing that book, or recording that song, and then it just grows. Every download, every click, every use, more fruit falls from the tree. And here's the real kicker. The cost of replication is near zero. Unlike physical products, you don't have to restock or repackage anything. That same file gets sold 1,000 times over, and your bank account doesn't mind repeating itself. I have to pause the video right now and tell you, if you're serious about financial freedom, make sure to subscribe to the channel and watch our previous videos on developing the stealth wealth mindset. We've created an entire playlist to help get you there. But while everyone's looking online, the top 1% still love a good old tax-friendly, cash-flowing favorite that smells like success. Literally. Asset number 7, income-producing land. Here's one the average person rarely thinks about: land. But not just any land, income-producing land. We're talking farmland that rents to agricultural companies, timberland that pays you while trees grow, or land with billboard leases. It's boring, it's stable, and it pays you for doing nothing. To understand it better, think of land like a rental property that never depreciates and doesn't need a roof repair. Instead of collecting rent from tenants, you're collecting income from nature or corporations, trees growing, crops planted, or advertisements standing tall. And unlike stocks, you can't just print more land. It's scarce, which is why the rich love it. Plus, it's one of the best tax-advantaged asset classes out there, with government incentives, conservation easements, and long-term capital gains treatment. To the 1%, land isn't just dirt. It's a slow cooker of wealth. You put it in, wait a while, and the flavors of passive income, appreciation, and tax breaks all blend together into something delicious. And while land is a slow and steady earner, our next asset is the flashy, high-risk, high-reward bet that really separates the rich from the rest. Asset number 6, startup equity and angel investing. Angel investing is basically like Shark Tank in real life. Basically, the wealthy throw $25,000 into 10 early-stage startups, hoping one turns into a unicorn. It's risky, but when it hits, the returns can be generational. They're not looking for 10% annual gains, they're looking for 10x returns. And when you're in the top 1%, you can afford a few misses when the wins can change your bloodline's financial future. But don't mistake this for playing the lottery. The 1% aren't tossing money at random ideas scribbled on napkins. They invest in founders with a track record, business models that scale, and industries ready to explode. Think AI, biotech, fintech, clean energy. They also bring more than cash to the table: connections, credibility, and strategic advice that multiply the value of their investment. Here's an analogy. Imagine planting 10 seeds in a garden. Most might grow into small plants. A few will die. But one becomes a giant apple tree that feeds your entire village for decades. That's the power of startup equity. And the exit? That's where it gets exciting. IPOs, acquisitions, or massive funding rounds where early investors cash out with life-altering gains. It's the kind of money move that doesn't just build wealth, it launches legacies. But let's bring it back to earth, because not every 1% asset has to feel like Vegas. Some are as reliable as gravity, but just as invisible. Asset number 5, whole life insurance as a wealth tool. Wait, insurance? Yes, but don't get it twisted. Not the kind you get from your employer. The ultra-wealthy use high cash value whole life insurance as a financial strategy, often called infinite banking. Trust me, I know, it sounds boring, because it is. But behind the dull label lies one of the most underrated and misunderstood tools in the wealth-building playbook. Here's how it works. They overfund a specially designed whole life insurance policy, which builds up significant cash value over time. That cash value grows tax-deferred, and here's the kicker. They can borrow against it, tax-free, anytime they want. Imagine having a private vault that earns interest year after year. You can borrow from it, reinvest the borrowed money elsewhere, and the vault keeps growing like nothing ever happened. That's the magic trick. It's like cloning your dollars and sending them out to work a second job. Now here's the analogy. Picture a golden goose that not only lays eggs, but lets you borrow golden feathers whenever you need them, without killing the goose. That's what these policies offer. They grow, they pay out when you need them, and they quietly protect wealth from taxes, lawsuits, and market crashes. The 1% aren't using these just for death benefits. They're using them as living benefits, funding businesses, buying real estate, paying for private school tuition, or even retiring early, all while avoiding the prying eyes of Uncle Sam. Even better, these policies are often private. They're not subject to public market volatility or nosy regulators, and in some states, the cash value is protected from creditors, making it an asset shielded from financial ruin. And when the policyholder eventually passes, the death benefit transfers to heirs, often tax-free, completing the circle of wealth preservation. It's not just insurance, it's a wealth reservoir, a liquid, tax-advantaged, privacy-protected vault that grows as you grow. No wonder the banks, billionaires, and business moguls use it like a secret weapon. Still with me? Because if you've ever dreamed of printing money without needing permission, the next asset will blow your mind. Asset number 4, private credit and hard money lending. Watch this. Why borrow from a bank when you can be the bank? Here's what I mean. Private credit, also known as hard money lending, is how the wealthy take idle cash and turn it into a consistent cash-flowing machine. While the average person parks money in a savings account earning 0.5%, the top 1% are lending that same money out at 8 to 15% interest, backed by real assets. Here's how it works. A real estate investor needs quick cash to close a deal fast. Banks move slow, so instead, they go to private lenders. The wealthy step in, provide the loan, and charge a premium interest rate. It's fast money for the borrower and fat returns for the lender. But this isn't reckless lending. These deals are usually backed by collateral. Think real estate, vehicles, inventory, meaning if the borrower defaults, the lender takes the asset. It's like giving someone a parachute, but keeping the ripcord in your pocket. The 1% love this strategy because it gives them control. They set the terms, they pick the deals, and they skip the roller coaster ride of the stock market entirely. Here's an analogy. Imagine your friend wants to buy a car, and instead of going to a dealership, they come to you. You give them the money, hold on to the car title, and charge interest until they pay you back. Worst case scenario, you keep the car. Best case, you make money while doing almost nothing. Now scale that up. Instead of a car, it's a duplex. Instead of your buddy, it's an investor. And instead of doing it once, you do it 10 times a year. That's private lending. There are even platforms and funds that let wealthy individuals diversify across dozens of deals at once, spreading risk while earning solid returns. It's like building your own mini credit empire, minus the corporate overhead. Private credit is clean, contractual, and cash-rich, and it's a favorite for those who want their money working 24/7, without babysitting tenants or watching stock tickers. And if that sounds like a power move, just wait, because the next asset is how rich people literally buy back time. Asset number 3, ownership in systems, franchises, and licensing. You've heard of owning a business, but the top 1% often prefer something even better: owning systems that run businesses. While most people chase startup dreams and side hustles that eat up their time, the wealthy invest in turnkey money machines, franchises, licensing deals, and automated business models. Why build a rocket when you can just buy the launch pad? Franchises are a prime example. Instead of figuring out branding, marketing, and operations from scratch, you're buying into a proven formula with built-in demand. Think McDonald's, Chick-fil-A, or Anytime Fitness. These aren't just food chains and gyms, they're finely tuned money printing systems with a roadmap already laid out. But it's not just food or fitness. There are franchises for tax prep, pet grooming, education centers, cleaning services, even vending machines. The 1% look for models with strong cash flow, loyal customer bases, and low overhead. And once the system is running, they hire managers and operators, freeing up their time to go rinse and repeat. Licensing is another stealth move. Instead of running the show, they license their brand, product, or intellectual property out to others. It's like renting out the blueprint to your castle while still collecting the toll at the gate. Here's the analogy. Imagine a bakery. You could bake every loaf yourself, deal with customers, and clean up the flour every night. Or you could hand someone your recipe, brand name, and playbook, and get paid every time they sell a croissant. That's systems ownership. You own the recipe, they do the baking. It's the ultimate leverage. Because while income from a single business depends on your time and energy, owning systems lets you scale exponentially without burning out. More locations, more licensees, more revenue streams, all without cloning yourself. And the best part? Systems are sellable. A franchise territory with steady income, a licensing deal with recurring royalties, those are assets you can sell, pass down, or collateralize. The rich aren't hustling harder. They're just smarter about what they own. Speaking of scale, this next one turns your network into a net worth machine. And most people don't even know it's happening. Asset number 2, equity in operating companies. The top 1% don't always build companies. They buy pieces of great ones. Whether it's acquiring a 20% stake in a growing business or becoming a silent partner, they earn distributions, appreciation, and sometimes even influence, without running day-to-day operations. It's like owning a Ferrari, but paying someone else to drive it for you while you still cash in on the prize money. And now, for the final asset on the list. It's not just powerful, it's how the top 1% stay rich forever. Asset number 1, trusts and foundations. This is where the real money game changes, from building wealth to preserving it. The top 1% don't just focus on earning income, they think generationally. And one of their most powerful tools for long-term wealth is the strategic use of trusts and foundations. Let's start with trusts. A trust is like a treasure chest, but instead of burying it in the sand, you use it to legally protect your assets. You put property, stocks, cash, even businesses into this chest. Then you assign a trustee to manage it according to your wishes, often for the benefit of your kids, grandkids, or favorite charity. The best part? Trusts can reduce or even eliminate estate taxes. When structured correctly, they prevent your heirs from getting walloped by the IRS, and they shield your wealth from lawsuits, creditors, and even bad decisions made by your future heirs. Let me try and give you an analogy. Think of a trust like a slow-release pill. Instead of handing your 18-year-old $1 million and praying they don't blow it on NFTs and jet skis, the trust doles out money in responsible chunks. Say for education, a home, or at certain ages. You stay in control even after you're gone. Now let's talk foundations. These are often used by ultra-wealthy families to manage philanthropy and reduce taxes, while maintaining full control over how their money is used. Unlike just donating to a random nonprofit, a private foundation allows you to create your own, with your rules, your mission, and your board, which often includes your family. And here's the kicker. You can take a tax deduction for funding your own foundation, then pay yourself or your family members' salaries for running it. That's impact and income, wrapped in one powerful legacy-building vehicle. Foundations can also invest their endowment, which means the money inside keeps growing, even as it supports causes you care about. It's how the rich do good, while still getting richer. In short, trusts and foundations are the final boss level of wealth. They're not just about making money. They're about ensuring that wealth lives longer than you do. So, if you've ever wondered why some families stay wealthy for centuries, now you know. They don't just earn money. They own the right assets. Now, here's the truth. You don't need millions to get started. But you do need to start thinking like the 1%. Pick one asset, learn it, move on it. Because the longer you wait, the more those doors start to close. If this video gave you new ideas, comment the words, "I own assets," so I know who's serious. There's a whole world of wealth building that nobody's teaching in school, and this channel is your cheat code. In fact, if building wealth is the goal, there's a step-by-step wealth blueprint we've created for beginners. Just click the video on the screen now, and we'll see you there.